Welcome to the Dope Dad Podcast. This is an unscripted journey for those who are invested in parenting. There's no judgment, there's no BS, just honest conversation about what it really means to be a dad today. It's raw, it's real, and it's unapologetically dope. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is the Dope Dad Podcast. I'm your host, OJ, and today I got one really amazing homeboy with me. I want to introduce Joe Tower, who is a new father, close homeboy of mine. We've actually bonded over some cool shit. He did all of my most recent ink that I'm super proud of, and I got to know him because I worked with his wife before. Welcome to the show, bro. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, dude. So we've been talking about it for a while. I guess through the course of you drilling me with fucking needles.
Pretty much. Yeah, you've been explaining the process to me since you've been getting started.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's a whole fucking thing, and most of the people that I brought on are parents of, kids that are multiple years old or have multiple kids.
Right.
And you got a youngster, bro.
Yeah, he'll be 8 months in like a week.
That's fucking wild.
It's crazy. And it's funny because when you originally asked me to do this, I'm like, the fuck am I going to say? Like with my 1 month experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Dude, it happens quick though, right?
Yeah.
That 8 months, dude, like.
I can't believe it.
It's fucking wild. The pregnancy too, man. I guess it's like in the eye of the beholder, right? Like it's a perception thing because a pregnancy can take a lifetime, and it also goes really fast too, right? Like you find out you're pregnant and you try to do all this planning, and of course, like everything falls apart and shit. You know what I mean? And the emotional highs and lows are crazy.
It was crazy, man. Like it all happened so fast, especially since it wasn't really planned. So all of a sudden, it's like I came home from one day, and Marsha's, freaking out, like happy, sad, like every emotion all wrapped up into one, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And then, we've had situations in the past where, where we thought she was pregnant and then she wasn't, and you know what I mean? So it was kind of like we had our guard up for a little bit. So it wasn't like things were just moving really slow because our brains were really moving slow with accepting what was going to happen. Yeah. And then you go to one appointment, and then you go to the next appointment, you go to the next appointment, and then you go to the appointment where you actually see it and hear that little heartbeat, and you're just like, oh, damn. And then all of a sudden it just starts traveling. You're like, shit, here we are.
It gets really real. It's funny, man. I think that's one thing people don't really take into consideration too, dude, is like all the appointments that you go to, right? Like each one carries like a little more weight and makes it like a little more real and gets a little more intense. Yeah. Because, first it's like, you're pregnant, and you're like, take a couple pregnancy tests and make sure they're all the same. And then you go to the doctor and they're like, you're pregnant. And you're like, shit, okay. So that's actually happening. Yeah. And then you end up going back, and like you said, like, the heartbeat was one.
For sure.
And then if you want to, like the gender reveal, you know what I mean? Like I always wanted to know, like
we did that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate that people want to like wait and be surprised, but like that's crazy to me.
Nope. Yeah. Can't do that shit, bro.
Yeah, I'm too impatient for that shit.
Yeah, I'm the guy too. I'm like, tell me what happened at the end of the movie. They're like, I don't want to ruin it. And I'm like, I can handle it. Just fucking give it to me, bro.
Totally. Yeah, it was crazy. And then, and I went to every single appointment with Marsha, and I know a lot of guys do and a lot of guys don't. And but there was only one that I didn't go to because it just seemed really regular, and it was just like I had a long night the night before, and I was just like, like I can miss one. Like we've been going to a lot of these, and that was the only time there was any like a hint of a complication. Like the only time I didn't go, and all of a sudden I'm getting a text from her just being like, oh, well, they hooked me up to this and they hooked me up to that because X amount of things on their checklist didn't go the way they wanted to, and I'm like, of course.
Yeah, naturally.
Like, seriously? Because I wasn't there?
That's funny, dude. I think I got a piece done for you like right around that time because I remember you telling me about that. And like, man, it's tough being like riddled with guilt or feeling like you missed something or weren't able to support or whatever. But dude, you were. Your stand up for being there for everyone, though, bro.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to be there for her, And obviously, like I was excited too, I wanted to see what was going on. Like, it's one thing to hear your spouse or your significant other like explain like what happened at a doctor's appointment, but like when you hear from like the doctor's mouth itself, it's like, okay.
You guys have a dope doctor?
Yeah, we did. We actually had a really cool doctor. And what was funny is it turned out that she ended up being there to deliver the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, which wasn't planned at all. Like she had told us, she's like, like I don't normally do deliveries these days, but I actually did pick up a couple of shifts for like the day before and Thanksgiving Day. So have your baby on Thanksgiving, ha ha ha, as a joke.
And you did.
And we ended up actually doing that. So the next thing you know, we're sitting there in the hospital. It's like 8 a.m. when she comes on her shift, and she comes in. She was like, I was just kidding. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, you didn't actually have to do that.
Yeah, totally. But it worked out really great because we had a good rapport with her. Yeah. And she was super cool and really chill and just she just knew how to talk to us and just a very chill demeanor, and you know, didn't hype anything up. And
That's important, dude. I feel like the relationship that a mother has. I mean, a father too, but like obviously most important the mom, dude. Like with the doctor, there's got to be some type of chemistry or some foundation of trust or understanding of like what the desire is, right? Like because I feel like each woman is kind of particular with how they visualize a pregnancy going and what it means to them. Some people want natural birth, some people don't. Some people want home birth, some people don't. Whatever, but you get somebody that understands that mission. They like help make it come to life.
Right.
That's hugely important. We had a little older like Jewish lady. Dude, she was like stone cold, bro, like almost no emotion. And we like the first couple times I met her, I'm like, I don't fucking know if I like her, bro. Like I kind of want to fight this lady.
Yeah.
And dude, she was the shit. She had delivered all 3 of our kids. She unfortunately like delivered, you know, the news that we lost a few kids through the miscarriages and stuff. But like when I would talk about her, I met like 5 other people who she had also delivered their kids. And they all said the same thing. They were like, oh, yeah, she's badass.
Yeah.
She was just like OG and straight to the point. Like, didn't sugarcoat shit.
That's kind of what you need.
Yeah, didn't try to fuck you up with like weird doctor jargon that you don't understand. She would just tell you what it is. You know?
Right. I mean, I feel like that's the best approach. Like
honest and direct, bro.
I clearly don't do this job. I don't have the vocabulary you have. Just give it to me.
Yeah, what are you saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny. So towards the end of one of our pregnancies, you know, they're just like, you make sure you walk a lot, you know, try to like expedite it. You're starting to dilate. So move things along. And she's like, and have sex, have lots of sex. And I don't know, like, I can't speak for other dudes, but for me, I'm like, I'm like, that's tough because I know the baby's like creeping down there. I'm like, you know, I'm a little uncomfortable, like I'm a little nervous, like how deep can I go? And she just like sized me up and she's like, don't flatter yourself.
Oh,
you're not gonna hit anything. Damn. You can have sex. I'm like, bro, all right, I'll do it.
I mean, I was bringing that shit up all the time to Marsha. I was like, well, the doctor said, you know, like we should be doing this. Like it's gonna help with a lot of things. It's gonna help, you know.
I mean, dude, honestly, like that's just the bomb.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
different, bro.
I was all about it. I was totally. I mean, I would always crack jokes to Marsha. You know, it's like sometimes it wasn't super appropriate. Like we'd be in the middle of doing it. I'd be like, you know, you got 2 dicks in you right now.
Yes, dude. I don't know that shit. Like it just hits different, bro.
Kind of a mood killer, but you know.
I mean, for her, for us, I'm like, dude, that shit's funny as hell. I love that shit.
She'd be like, you fucking said that on your podcast?
Yeah, bro. Take that out. Delete that. Take it back. You never actually said that. Yeah, it's wild, man. So when you guys found out you were gonna have a baby, man, like neither one of you guys were expecting, neither one of you guys were trying. Had you given up hope? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say given up, but it hadn't really been talked about. Like we had been, I guess for lack of better words, trying for like 12 years. You know, like we were just going to town, and we were kind of always working under the umbrella of if it happens, awesome. If it doesn't happen, awesome. You know what I mean? Like I can see ourselves spoiling ourselves just as much as I can see us spoiling a kid. Life is going to be grand anyways because we have each other. Yeah, it was super cool. And, you know, but I would definitely pick up on her like every now and then, especially when people we knew were having kids or certain times, you know, where I could tell that she was definitely like missing it or something she really wanted to do. You know what I mean? And which I totally understand. And there was one time where she did get pregnant and we ended up having a miscarriage. And it wasn't a super traumatic thing because it all happened so fast. But what it did do is it got us hooked on the idea. Like it really made us like, whoa, we got really excited for a second there. You know what I mean? Like I was out buying baby books. What do you expect when you're expecting, you know, like reading them. I was like, oh man, like this is crazy. This is going to be awesome. And then it didn't happen. So that was kind of a letdown, but like it definitely was like, all right, well, we're just going to keep going. So like we've never used any birth control, you know, no pull out, no nothing. And after 12 years, you just kind of accept it. You know what I mean? You're just like, clearly it wasn't meant to be. And, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, it happened just like out of nowhere.
How fucking weird was that, bro?
Dude, it was wild. Like I completely did not expect it at all, you know, and it was one of those things where it's like, for me, like it took some time, you know, like my initial reaction was obviously, you know, I think my initial reaction was probably like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, are you sure?
Like, no way. Like, hilarious, you know? Mm-hmm. But even for it to just like really settle in that is like actually happening because we have had no forward progress in that department for such a long time, you know, it's just kind of like, okay. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, all right, you're having a kid. And then but now here I am with like an 8-month-old baby. You know what I mean? Like it was wild.
Half of you, bro.
Yeah, it's totally wild. So yeah, it was you know, and we did a bunch of stuff. Like, we did a bunch of cool shit, you know. Went on a bunch of cruises and had time to travel and, you know.
You and the Queen before pregnancy, you mean?
Yeah, for sure, you know. Because it's like, you don't really think about, once you put it out of your head that, like, this is probably never going to happen, you know. You just don't think about certain things about your life or the future of your life or the family, you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, how much time can we set aside to party? Like, how much money can we save so we can go do cool shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
like,
sure.
that's totally what you're geared, like, for, you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, like, having the baby, like, it's just totally different. So, but it's awesome, you know what I mean? Like, we're both 44. I mean, we're going to be 44 this year. We're both 43. 43 when we had the kid. And, you know, we've already had time to do a bunch of cool shit, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like we're going to go through any kind of midlife crisis or, you know, I have a lot of friends that, like...
That ship probably sailed.
Yeah, like, they went to, you know, went through high school, graduated, did a couple years of college, you know, got married, knocked up their old lady, finished college, in a bunch of debt, raising a couple of kids, and then, you know, 10, 15 years later, 16, 18 years later, now their kids are grown up and they're doing shit, and these two, they don't even really know each other very well. They're figuring out how to date, you know what I mean? Like, they never really had time. They're like, all of a sudden now they're in their 40s and they're just like, fuck, I never had time to really do anything with myself. Like, we didn't do any of that, you know what I mean? Like, we totally got a chance to experience each other for such a long time and, like, build a solid foundation for our kid to see and grow up, you know what I mean? So, like,
That's super dope.
I think it worked out perfectly. Like, I couldn't imagine it any other way. Like, I'm sure in hindsight, if we would have had children, you know, at a much younger age, like, we would have found a way to work that out also, you know what I mean? Like, but I think that just comes with finding the right person, you know?
It's tough, man. It's actually, I was thinking about it earlier, how challenging it is to have kids at a young age because you don't even know who the fuck you are,
right?
Or have figured stuff out. I was talking to Carrot, my oldest, today, and I was talking about when I married my wife because we got married after 10 months, and I'm like, dude, you're 17. You dated a boy longer than I knew your mom before I married her.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like 10 months is fast,
that's
bro.
Really fast.
And so we completely had to learn each other, kind of on the go, and as things were happening, and obviously there was like mad hurdles and obstacles, and of course I was a drunken asshole at that time, so I kind of set ourselves up for failure too, you know. But I'm like, I do think about what that would be like to have a kid now, knowing what I know, financial responsibility, maturity with alcohol out of my life, and just more goal driven, more focused and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I would probably be a completely different dad from jump.
For sure.
Than I am now, you know?
Well, especially now, I mean, even the two differences between, like, if you guys had a kid now with your experience of having kids versus if you had a kid now with your having, let's say, no experience having kids, like, those would be two completely different things too.
I wonder if I'd be like, I wonder if it would be better or worse, because I feel like, I know that I would parent different, but I don't know how it would like affect the kid, if it would be beneficial or if it would be more crippling, because I'd probably be more, I don't know, like, I'd be more hands-on. I might be like a little bit more free with the kid too, like empowering them a little bit more from an earlier age. I don't know, I mean, like, I know that I would do things differently, but I don't know if it would like help them or hinder them. You know,
I mean, did that happen for you, like, child to child as well?
Well, no,
you know what I mean.
They were like, dude,
by the
like,
time you had your second one, you were like, oh, I'm going to do it different than the first one. By the time you had the third one, you're like, I'm going to do it different than these other two.
It was like 2.5 years between each, about 2.5 years between each. So it was like cool because I got to like spend time and then like invest in the next, spend time and invest in the next.
Yeah.
And I was like always kind of like bringing them along, but
just turn and burn.
Yeah. I never noticed us parenting anything like any different.
Okay.
I feel really
like the third one didn't get more privilege than the other one.
I don't think so, man.
You were like, well, that wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think so. And sometimes people are like, yo, the middle kid gets fucked because the first one is like, yo, this is the only kid we're ever gonna have, and the last one's like, well, this is the last kid we're gonna have. And so I know that historically, like, the kids in the middle kind of get like abandoned, but I feel like very, very close to my middle daughter. Okay. She's super like me, bro. And honestly, like, she's so like me that sometimes when I look at her, I'm like, that's fucking me, bro. Like, man, that's totally me.
I mean, like, because I know I'm the youngest of 5, so like, I got away with murder because my parents were just like,
what was the age difference?
Learn how to pick and choose your battles. I mean, my oldest sibling is 63.
You got a sibling that's 63?
Yeah.
No shit.
63, and then another brother and sister that are quite a few years younger than that, and then my brother Ray, we're exactly 3 days short of a year apart. So we were obviously raised like exactly the same. Yeah. But like, we were completely different people. He was, you know, did exactly what he was supposed to do, you know, did well in school, went to college and did all that stuff and did sports in school and stuff like that. And I was just like, fuck this, I'd rather skateboard than smoke weed.
Yes.
And so like we were just like best friends all the way up into junior high, and then kind of split paths and did our own thing.
Yeah.
And then once he moved off to college, we kind of like reconnected and started like hanging out again a lot. But we were just completely different people at that time, like living our own separate lives, doing our own separate things. But yeah, I definitely noticed, like with my parents, you know, and they were obviously a little older, like having siblings that old. My parents were of a much older generation, so it was a mixture of them being a little tired versus also like I've learned which battles to pick and choose. You know what I mean? So it's like my siblings being like, we would have never gotten away with that. I'd be like, sucks to be you, like, cause see you later.
Fucking guinea pigs, man. You guys are the guinea pigs.
Totally.
Yeah, I guess I would definitely be more patient. That's one thing that I'm like a little embarrassed about, dude, is like how quick tempered I was and how impatient I was.
Yeah.
I didn't know shit, man. And certainly not trying to like say that I didn't know better and I did the best I could with what I had or any of that shit, you know? But I should have been more reserved and more appropriate, like with the kids, you know, because I was explosive, man. And kids are easy to fuck up. Yeah. Like they're really, really easy to fuck up, like emotionally and mentally, you know what I mean? It doesn't take much to really do some long-term damage to a kiddo. So I think that I would definitely be calm and patient. And if shit happens and kids do kid stuff, I would just kind of roll with the punches, man, and not make it like a really big deal, you know?
That is one thing that I appreciate about being older and like having our first kid is like definitely the patience.
For
like,
sure.
That's something like, and obviously this is my first time, so I wouldn't know like if I would have been patient then or not, but like, you know. Like it's like I would have definitely been less patient with certain things for sure.
Well, you know, you add, you know, alcohol or whatever else to the mix too, because I mean, if you're having kids in your 20s and 30s, chances are you're probably still drinking and partying and hanging out and
for
stuff,
sure.
you know. And I think it's tough for people to hit that switch to maturity and like true adulthood and grow up and be like, okay, I'm a parent now. I have the responsibility of another human. Yeah. A lot of people, I think, have a perception of, all right, well, you know, this is kind of inconvenient to have this kid around right now. Let's just fucking put him in front of a TV and then we can get fucked up.
I was still having a problem flipping that switch. You know what I mean? It wasn't until recently that I decided to be like, all right, I can't smoke. Like, gotta cut back on the drinking. You know what I mean? Have a little wine every now and then, but other than that, like, can't be going to the bar after work all the time or just spending all my time doing that. That's tough. And I'm into my 40s and I'm still like making that transition at any age it's going to be difficult because you come into a habit, you come into a routine. You know, you're not fucking up your life doing it. You know what I mean? You're not like for me, it's not like I'm like couldn't get life done. You know what I mean? Like raging alcoholic, but definitely spent a lot of time at the bar. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just like, oh, you can't do that anymore. And it's just habits that are like hard to break. And you just have to like stay focused on the long-term goal and the reasons that you're doing this and the reason you're making these decisions.
And that's what it's about too, right? I guess like it's not about you being able to manage it. It's about the fact that you're responsible for another human.
Right. Exactly.
You know, we were talking about like changing diapers. Yeah. What yesterday when we met. Yeah. And it's the same thing. Like some people are like, "Oh, I'm not doing that." You're like, dude, it's a fucking kid, man. Yeah. How could like they can't do it for themselves.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Just let them sit there?
It's a responsibility. Like,
all right. You know, take care of this. You know what I mean?
That like, diaper rash shit sets in quick too, bro.
Dude. Yeah. I mean, luckily we've only had to really deal with it once, and. It was a total battle, you know. It's totally new. We're just like, well, try this or that. Well, when do we use the butt paste? Is it too much? It seems to keep wiping off. We put a diaper on and then we take it off, and it's like we didn't even put it on there. Like, what's the trick with this shit? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not paying for a doctor's visit or traveling all the way to our doctor to be like, can you show me how to put on butt paste? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
YouTube, bail me out, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
There's got to be something out there.
Totally. So yeah, and it was bad. And it took a while to clear up, but then once it did, and you're like, okay, like. All right, we'll figure that out. Next time if this happens, I feel like we'll be able to attack it better and we won't be like freaking out. It's not getting any better. You know what I mean?
It's tough, man. Your first time with it, dude, like with anything, you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, totally.
And then I guess for us, by the third time, I'm just like, bro, it's fine. Yeah. It'll heal us. We're good.
He was like a little blemish on his skin. And we're like, what's that? Where did that come from? Did he scratch himself? Did he hit something? Like, was it a bug bite? Is it a mosquito?
Something's in the house. Get the exterminators out here. Yeah, totally. It's got to be a certain exterminator, though, because it can't be hazardous.
Yeah. Now we just realize that, you know, we have a boy and we're just like, that's gonna get worse. He's gonna be bonking his head all over the place, and if he's anything like me, like we're gonna be in for it for sure. So.
That rub some dirt on it shit is real, bro. Because there's been plenty of times where we're like out and about and something will happen, and the kid like looks at me, you know, they like fall and they like look at you to see how you're gonna react, and if you're like, oh my god, then it starts, you know, and if you're just like, come on, man, then they just kind of get up and like it's nothing, but they definitely follow your lead and your social cues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I can tell that he even does that at a very young age. Like he's pretty sharp with that kind of stuff. If like he does something, or if like he gets scared, he'll look at us and start getting a little pout face, and you know what I mean. It's definitely like your reaction to his reaction that's going to dictate what happens next.
For sure, dude.
And a lot of that too is like, you know, we learn from watching other friends and other parents do that. You know, like a lot of the stuff that we do that I feel like gave us a leg up having a child older is like we've had also a lot of time experience, not just growing our own patience, but like witnessing what other people are doing and how it works, and over a long period of time. You know what I mean?
That's
like
the most important learning to do, right?
Dude, I mean, like all of my siblings that have kids and friends that have kids, you know, that are now like, you know, teenagers or older, you know, it's like we got to witness these kids from a very young age and how they raised them.
Yeah.
And now they're older. We can see the benefits or, you know, disadvantages of what it is that they did during their raising. You know, we're like, yeah.
That shit's tricky, man. It's tough to get, like, I feel like it's tough to get the real. As with social media or fucking anything, like people only show you what they want you to see, right? Like they put their best foot forward, but
of course.
With like family and close friends, you're like, oh, bro, I already know.
Yeah.
I already know what that dynamic's like. I already know what's happening behind there. Like I watch you pull the kid aside and you're screaming on the kid for some dumbass shit or
brutal,
or the kid's running amok and you're not saying anything, which also speaks volumes, you know.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. But I think watching other people parent and learning what not to do and what you're not going to apply is probably more important than any of the other stuff, you know.
Yeah. So. I mean, I feel grateful that we've had the opportunity and time to like learn that stuff and be receptive to it and also retain it. You know what I mean? Like instead of just be like, oh, well, I'm never going to have a kid, so I don't have to fucking pay attention to that. Like you're going to fuck your own kid up. Have fun with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but instead, like we've retained that knowledge and we'd be like, ooh, like,
remember?
Yeah. So-and-so did it this way. That really worked. So-and-so did it this way. That did not fucking work.
You guys talk about that a lot? Like what you guys are going to parent like what your approach is going to be to certain...
Yes and no, as it comes up. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, we're, like, dealing with it in the moment. We're learning on the go. You know what I mean? Just like everybody else does their first time around. But, yeah, when it comes up, we definitely have had conversations. I think more so when she was actually pregnant. Where, like, in the moment with the child, we're more, like, talking about future instances of, like, what we would do or how we want things to go. Especially when it comes to not even just, like, raising them, but, like, you know, when do we start, like, feeding them this or giving them that? Or, like, a lot of people say you should be doing this and... You know, like we don't want to do that, or you know, more stuff like that. But yeah, like as far as raising them, like we definitely have talked about stuff like that. Like I want them to like be adventurous. You know what I mean? Like I think every dad wants their kid to like be into the shit that they're into. You know what I mean? Like that's the dream, isn't it?
Fuck yeah, dude. Absolutely.
So it's like I want them to be into like mountain climbing and backpacking and skateboarding, and you know what I mean? Like, and Marsha and I were both raised in the Midwest, so it's like even though we're not doing that, like I really appreciate a lot of those old school like Midwest values that I like really want to instill in him. Holding the door open for women, yes sir, no sir, you know, please and thank you. Keep your elbows off the table while you eat, like stuff like that. You know, raising them like that, and you know, just having respect for adults and you know your peers and stuff like that. Like you know, treating the janitor the same as you would a CEO, and just you know, just overall being you know not a little shithead,
courteous, displaying chivalry and
exactly,
just manners.
Yeah, for sure. So that would be awesome. But also, you know, like let's say we want to get them into like some kind of a school sport or something like that, you know, and they do it for like 1 week and all of a sudden they want to quit. You know what I mean? Like, no, you wanted to sign up for this. You got to see it out. After this session, if you decide you don't want to keep doing it, and that's fine. Yeah. But like you got to stick to what you said you were going to do. You can't just decide you don't like it after one try.
That's dope. I like that, man. I think there's value in that too, because oftentimes perseverance will start to like shed some light in a situation like that when they're like, I don't like it, or I feel uncomfortable, or the kids aren't nice to me, or you know, it's too much work. When you're teaching a child about like commitment and like you're saying, like seeing things through and you know, I guess to find out where things are going to end, like you got to go to the end of the path, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So you have to kind of navigate that and figure out like what it's going to be like, but you learn a lot about yourself through a situation like that, which is funny because like I never was in sports. I never got into sports. I was never like put into sports or anything like that. I guess like thinking back at it now, I guess I wish I would have.
Yeah.
But also, I don't feel like I missed a bunch. You know,
Yeah.
I got a ton of like skating and
Yeah.
smoking weed and all that other stuff in.
I mean, I was fortunate. Like me and my brother, we got put into a lot of stuff like Little League and baseball, and we had a lake, so we'd play hockey on there and stuff like that.
You're a wrestler too, right?
Yeah, like we wrestled big time.
Yeah.
Big wrestling family. My dad, my uncle wrestled through college, and then me and my brother wrestled for quite a while in school. So I mean, it'd be cool if he was into that too. You know what I mean? Because that'd be something that like I could teach him really well, and also kind of relive myself. Be like,
For sure, dude. Yeah,
That's kinda cool.
there's definitely going to be a point to where he's going to get rambunctious. You guys are going to watch some movies. He's going to jump over the back of the couch and like try to tackle you. And
Yeah.
You guys are going to have some fucking
I
WrestleMania.
want that stuff.
Yeah, dude, it'll
totally.
be badass.
And I know like it's gonna make Marsha go gray like super fast, because he's gonna get bonked around and like.
Of course.
But like, I don't know, like that kind of stuff is fun to me. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like it's cuts and scrapes and bruises. That's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's only gonna make you stronger.
Dude.
You need to brush it off and keep going, man.
So many scars from a childhood.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. Like people get hurt. It happens. Like you're a young boy. Like you're gonna be bouncing off of stuff. Like your bones are like rubber. Then might as well take advantage of it.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Try to fucking get something low off the ground right now, bro. You might not recover from trying to pick it up. You know what I
Totally,
mean?
dude. My skateboard's been hanging on my wall in my garage for I don't know how long. Like I think about like, oh, I could take that down when I was a skater, or maybe when Avon gets older, like, and I'll teach him how to skate, and then I'll skate with him, and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna need wrist guards and elbow pads.
It'd be embarrassing as shit. Yeah, if you break your ankle on your first ollie.
Like, yeah, totally. I'm just like, man, this is not gonna end well.
Dude, my kids got you remember the hoverboards? They're just like a little board with two wheels or whatever, and you
Oh,
just
yeah.
like lean into them or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they got them, and they're just like bombing around the house on those things. I'm like, I could fucking do that.
Of course, yeah.
And I put one foot on it, and it started to like lean on me, and I was like, I don't think I could do this.
Oh man, you didn't even go for it?
Fuck no, I didn't go
Ugh.
for it, bro. Like I'm gonna fall down and look like a bitch in front of all three of my girls.
Dude.
Not happening. So,
That's fair.
I skip out. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I go to work. Mars calls me. She's like, hey, you got to come home. Our neighbor fell off that fucking thing.
Oh, no.
I'm like, our neighbor? Why the fuck's our neighbor on it? So apparently there was like a little block party. Everybody was like hanging out. They brought the things out. One of the neighbors, this like older lady, she's cool as shit, but she like got on that thing. She ended up like being able to do a couple circles and moved around. She tried to go off the curb, bro. Ate shit off the curb, broke her glasses, broke her iWatch, the iPhone watch.
Oh, no.
Like a couple other things, had like a big ass scar on her eye, like black eye. I'm like, dude,
Oh no.
pass on all that, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that to be me.
Yeah.
I
get it.
I gotta know my limits, bro.
Yeah.
Like if I had to, I could do it, but I don't have to. so
I'm
not
still
gonna do it.
figuring those limits out. Like that's one thing that like I really hope I'm able to keep up with Avon, because I'm still to this day, like all of a sudden I'll come home and I'm like, Marsha, where's the bandages?
Broken.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, part of having a boy, man, I guess that's the joy, right? Is that you get to do all that shit. You guys still be able
Yeah.
to take dirt bikes to the mountain and do all sorts of shit. You know what I mean? Like snowboard, ski, whatever you guys are into.
I hope so. I hope he's into that. If he's not, it's cool. Like I'll try to dive into whatever it is that he's into. You know what I mean?
That's
Just
cool
so I can
mentality.
do it with him. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like I hope that he's into some of the stuff. At least a couple of the things that I really enjoy doing.
That's cool ass mentality, dude.
Yeah,
I like that.
My brother has two daughters, and one of them's way into snowboarding, and the other one's into skiing. And like I see them tearing up the mountains in Wisconsin, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for those days.
dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
I like that mentality. Like whatever the kid's into, you're gonna try to find a way to connect with them through that, because I think a lot of people are like, yo, this is what I do. Connect with me.
Yeah.
Versus like letting a child have independence, because oftentimes I feel like kids feel like they have to like comply with whatever their parents
Yeah, I don't
want
want to
or
push
do.
that. I want them to be an individual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's natural for them to like want to do things that they see, their friends or parents growing up doing. You know what I mean? That's just kind of life. But like, if he decides he doesn't want to do that, then like, ooh, what do you want to do, man? Bring it on. Like,
That's dope.
I don't, like, there's nothing that I can think of that he's gonna like ever say or do that I'm just gonna be like, nah, dude, yeah, you're not fucking doing that. Like, I just can't picture that. You know what I mean?
Would you dive with great white sharks with your kid?
If he really wanted to do it, I would do it in a really thick ass cage.
I would never fucking do that shit.
In a
bro.
really, really thick, heavy duty cage.
Yeah, I don't do oceans, man. I don't do sharks.
Yeah.
Any of that shit. My middle daughter, that's another thing too. Like we're so connected like that. Well, everybody else is like thrill seekers. We're like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's drive super fast, and we're just like, nah, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's jump out of an airplane. We're like, nah, we'll fucking cheer you on from here.
Yeah.
Like, ain't happening. We don't do any of that kind of shit.
I'm kind of that way. I'm definitely a thrill seeker. Like,
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the thing. Like, there's people in the family. My wife wants to do that shit. My oldest daughter wants to do it.
I have a limit though. Like, I did skydiving twice, and,
And?
I loved it. It was awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it was what a thrill. Like, I would totally like the first time I did it. When I hit the ground, I wanted to go right back up. But
no.
all of a sudden now I've got a kid, and I'm just like, you know what? I did it. I experienced it. It was awesome. There's really no reason for me to risk that again.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Well, that's the thing too, right? You start weighing out options and shit,
Yeah.
you know, you're just like,
Yeah. I mean,
if this goes sideways.
glad I did it, but what's the point of doing it again? You know what I mean? Unless it's like you're doing it over like, you know, Belize or some like beautiful place, you know, for that you could see from above. But like you go skydiving in the desert to what, like see more desert, like
Yeah.
cool.
Look, it's still brown.
Yeah, exactly.
Look over
You know
there.
what I mean?
Rolling brown.
Yeah, so you're just like rolling the dice at life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't seem worth it.
So growing up in the Midwest, and now living in the desert, man, like what are your thoughts on little man growing up out here? Like, are you guys going to stay here? Are you
Man.
thinking about switching up to a different location?
That's actually a topic that Marsh and I just recently were talking about.
Yeah.
Right before we started Skulls and Dolls, which I feel like is going to kind of plant us here for quite a while, just because of the connections that we have out here. But we were seriously contemplating like moving back to the Chicagoland area or
Yeah.
the Midwest, just in general. A lot of it had to do with the school systems. Like, unfortunately, the school systems here in Arizona, like statistically, are like some of the worst in the country, apparently. And I'm learning this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because why the fuck would you pay attention earlier, right? Like if it had so little direct impact on you.
The only time I knew when school was in session is when they have got the 15-mile-an-hour, you know, plastic sign out in the middle of the road right near my house. I was like, oh, school must be back. So yeah, I never did any of that kind of research. And you know, we have a couple of friends that are teachers, and they were kind of explaining it to us, and you know, letting us know like why those statistics are the way they are. But in general, like no matter which way you twist it, you know what I mean. Like the schools in the Midwest, they're just better.
Yeah.
But we obviously have a long time to like worry or think about that. So we're like, all right, you know, that's not necessarily something we have to really be concerned with right now. He's only 8 months. He's not even a year. You know, we're thinking about like, oh, what high school is he going to go to? But I guess you have to think about that.
Happens fast, bro.
The other major factor too was family. Avon only has one living biological grandparent, my father. You know, my mother has passed, and Marsha's parents had passed when she was really young. So for him to get a chance to like spend more time, you know, with his grandfather, and you know, just do that on a more regular basis and be able to grow up with him a little bit, you know, before, you know, he passes, which I don't see happening anytime soon. My dad's a machine.
Yeah, dude.
Shit. So that would be really cool. Also seasons, you know what I mean? Like kids get out of school in the summer out here and they can't do anything because
Bro.
it's 1,000,000 degrees outside.
That's
Whereas,
a huge
like,
consideration.
yeah, like when I grew up, you know, like summer was the best time of the year in the Midwest. You go out and there's green grass and you're out in the woods and you're hiking and there's pools and you're riding your bike around town and you're playing with all your friends, and you know what I mean? You got one of your friends lives in a cul-de-sac and it's like every game on the road you could possibly think of, you know,
Fuck
like
yeah.
you can't do that shit out here.
No, drinking from a hose, bro. Why is it like the smallest things that are like so
Yeah.
like highly coveted too,
Yeah,
right? Like
totally,
a cul-de-sac, bro. Like you barely even see cul-de-sacs out here.
Yeah, I know, right?
But I had a bunch of homies that lived in cul-de-sacs too, man. It was fucking awesome.
It's a party.
Dude, it was so cool.
Yeah.
You like block off the whole little area. You're like, yo, all 5 of these houses, like I feel bad for the neighbors, you know, but like, yo, all 5 of these houses are part of our gang, you know.
But like a lot of them,
It's a
like
compound.
they had kids too, so they were out there also. They'd have block parties. All of a sudden, like that little neighborhood, like everybody knew everybody, and you know what I mean. Like if
that
you're-
trick or treating shit was
Yeah.
great in those areas.
Oh man, it was clutch, you know, and that was awesome. So it's definitely stuff like that we were like, man, like Avon's not gonna get a chance to do any of the stuff that we did growing up, you know, and like in the winters, you know, like sledding and snowboarding and like throwing a snowball at somebody's face, you know what I mean? Like all that fun stuff, like
All the rad shit, yeah, dude.
yeah, you know, like, all right, well, we're gonna drive a couple hours north to Flagstaff so you can like sled
See
down
it.
a hill with all the people that came from Mesa that are all
Yeah.
on the line doing the same thing.
I think my kids have seen snow like a handful of times, maybe
Yeah.
like 5. And two of them are like, yo, I hate the cold. I
Yeah.
hate being fucking cold.
Yeah.
We're like, dude, I grew up in Seattle, bro. Like, it's always cold
Yeah,
and
for
wet.
sure. Yeah, you're used to it.
Yeah, and if you didn't want to do it in the rain, then you didn't fucking do it. But all those things are like huge considerations to put into play, man. Like, where do you want to raise your kid, and what kind of morals and values you want them to have? What type of environment you want them to be subjected to? Like,
Yeah.
my kids are growing up in Scottsdale, bro. Mm-hmm. Girls in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
And it's tough to keep them grounded, man, and
bet.
to keep like a reality check on the way the world actually operates. Because Scottsdale's kind of like a,
Yeah.
you know, it's like a facade, you know?
Yeah, it's a vacation town.
Yeah, of like how the world looks on Instagram, but the reality is, bro, like it's not the way the world works.
You go anywhere else and it is not Scottsdale.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know, man. Like pros and cons, I guess. what we do in the winter is what other places are doing in the summer. They're like, oh my God, it's the best time of year. We're like, yeah, dude, we can go out. It's fucking 80 degrees in the winter during the day. You know what I mean? So it's tit for tat, but dude, like the schooling thing is a huge consideration, man, especially if we had youngsters at this age, like if we were having kids again, man, that'd definitely be a huge consideration for us too, man.
And I guess I didn't realize, like, you have all the charter schools and like other kinds of schools and private schools and stuff like that. And I always wondered why they were so popular out here. And then obviously I did the research on like, because the public school systems are like not what they are in other places. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But like, I still, like, even if we did private schools or charter schools or whatever up to a certain time, like I still want him to have time in a public school. Like I still want at least high school, if not junior high and high school. Like I think that is important.
That's what we did was charter schools from an early age. I think Carradine she started charter at 5th grade, but the other two started like right at like kinder and 1st grade. And dude, great foundation for discipline, academics, structure, just like a good foundation. But they outgrew the campus pretty quick. And honestly, like my kids are still my kids. Like they don't like being told what to do, bro.
Yeah.
And so they had to switch over to a public school setting, and bro, it's fucking awesome. Like they're flourishing. Yeah, dude. And there's like tons of kids, They're like public schools or private school is great because in charter school where my kids went, because uniform required. And it's easy when you're a kid to judge somebody else based off the way they look.
That's
if I show up to school and I'm a skater and you look like a skater and you're wearing some fucking Jinko jeans and some dirty cons, I'm going to be like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, smoke? And all of a sudden we're besties, right?
Right, totally.
Or you're wearing like a Misfits shirt or some shit like that. A charter school, you have to meet somebody and get to know them and judge them off the merit of like their character.
Yeah, see, I really appreciate that.
That's fucking awesome, right? And so they have all sorts of friends that the friendships are very real. They're not like superficial. But then you get to public school and there's like groups of kids or whatever. But at that point, I feel like you have a better understanding of the people that you're interested in spending time with. And so you naturally like kind of gravitate to different areas where like you want a friend,
not just based on how they look.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was definitely a thing. You know what I mean? Like, walking, like you said, walking to any school, you'd be like, all right, there's the skaters, there's the punks, there's the preppies, there's the hippies. I'm sure the cliques are different now. I'm probably aging myself, but like
probably way different. Bro. I think you and I. Did you ever see like Jump Street or 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street?
Totally. It's like I don't know what those are.
Yeah, they like immediately like role reversed and shit.
Yeah, totally.
That's probably what it would be like for us.
Probably, but yeah. So that would be cool. But again, like as far as going back to the Midwest, I don't know. Like it's still kind of something that's up in the air. I don't think we're ever going to like completely rule it out. And I think we are definitely, I mean, it was to the point to where we were like looking on our phones just for shits and giggles. We were like,
property,
what's out there? Yeah, exactly. Like, cost. And dude, like, we've been living in South Scottsdale for a while now too. Like technically we're on like the Scottsdale-Tempe border, but everything we do is in South Scottsdale. And we're looking at prices of houses and property and even just rentals out there versus out here. And it's crazy, crazy different. Like
considerably more affordable.
Oh my God, like something that would be, a $500,000 home in South Scottsdale, like out there would be, like one of the nicest neighborhoods.
Yeah,
like you'd have a fucking bitchin' house.
Not to mention, there's like an element that like I feel like in the Northwest or in the Northwest and probably the Midwest too, like the homes feel like they look more like a home. There's more like foliage and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. You got
so maybe just like just less stale or whatever.
Yeah.
Marcia and I were talking for a long time about where we were going to move. We're going to move back to Washington. We're going to move to Colorado. We might end up moving somewhere in the Midwest, explore Texas. And we finally like came to an epiphany later. We're like, yo, like the girls are happy. Like we're doing all right. We've got a good thing going right here. And we decided not to disrupt it because we were very gung-ho about kind of relocating and setting up shop to raise a family the whole time we had been raising the family.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of had this epiphany like, oh, I guess this is where we stay. And I'm glad that we did, man, because honestly, some things for me like are best left memories. If I went back to the Northwest chasing what I thought it was and hoping for that same kind of outcome, I don't think it would have been the same. The people are different. They're older. They're kind of doing their own thing. So I'm like, oh, I want to be around all these people, but maybe those people didn't even want to be around or have their kids with our kids, or maybe those little kids are motherfuckers and I don't want them around my kids once I get back. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean that's definitely a thing. Like we talked about that too. Like, all right, well, there is a reason we left.
Yeah,
we're really trying to go back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what's up with that? Like we're gonna get back there and all of a sudden be like invest all this into moving to the other side of the U.S. again, and then be like, shit, are right back where we started. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want that. And a lot of times when we go back for like Christmas, we go every other year because both of our families are there, so it's convenient.
Yeah.
And we'll go to a spot, and the same people sitting on the same stools at the same bars, at the same restaurants, and being like, "Damn, like you've never left this town, like you've never experienced anything outside of this town, like that's crazy. Like there's so much out there." So, yeah, there's a lot of factors involved in there, and we've thought too about going somewhere totally different. That was even before Avon. Like I've been saying my entire life that at some point in my life I want to live in Colorado. I love the mountains. I love being out there. Like it's a happy place for me. Yeah. Like I don't care if it's soon or later or even for just a year at some point in my life, but I need the Rocky Mountains in my backyard.
That'd be dope.
But but now with Avon, I'm like, who knows if that's even something that I really want? Maybe it's something he doesn't want to do, or maybe something he's going to be like, we visit Colorado to go a couple of times, and he's like, I want to live here. Then I might look at Marsha and be like, maybe we should consider this.
Told you.
Yeah.
Told you. Yeah. That's my boy.
Yeah. I didn't plant that.
Yeah. Manifested that shit.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. Like for me too, man. I guess there's something to be said about consistency.
Yeah.
I don't like not knowing what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've been in Scottsdale for long enough that I know what my environment is. I know how to navigate it. I feel comfortable. And maybe that's like complacency getting the better half of me.
Mm-hmm.
But do drugs, gangs, all sorts of shit that like I don't want my kids to get exposed to frontline.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they're in every fucking city.
Everywhere.
Right? They're even here. They're in Phoenix. You know what I mean? Like Phoenix is fucking very real.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been able to kind of like place us strategically where we're not daily exposed to that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so my kids are able to kind of navigate their youth into their young adulthood and into their independence without having that as like a heavy driving force or exposure to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel really good about that because I mean, people fall victim to that shit like that.
Oh, dude, you're not kidding, man. It happens.
It's fucking devastating. Like as a parent, I could not imagine what it's like to have one of my kids fall victim to like drug addiction or like a fucked up group of people that influence them to do terrible shit. Like, and it just happens fast, right? And it happens to everybody. And if you think it can't happen to you, then you're fucking out of your mind because it can happen like that. And so I think what I can control is how much I expose them to it.
Yeah.
Right. And what, it's not like I'm telling them that it doesn't exist or any of that bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm just very, very strategic about where we go and when we go there and who we're with and stuff like that. Right. Because, dude, it's crazy, man. The drugs out there are fucking nuts. Yeah. My wife was like, she knew that I did a lot of drugs growing up. I feel bad for my mom, what I put her through, but, she's like, do you think there's ever a time that the kids would be able to do drugs and you wouldn't know? And I'm like, fuck no, not a chance. Not a way, shape, or form. Never gonna happen. Yeah. And now I'm like, wait, what is that called?
Yeah, totally.
Where do you get it? What's it do? It has what in it? Like I wouldn't know shit. I haven't even been high myself. And
kids are smart, man. Kids are smart. Like if they're gonna do something and they're like they know how to get away with that kind of shit. Just like we did when we were younger. Like both of our parents probably at some point said to us like, "Oh, I know everything you've done." You're like, bullshit.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
You know what I mean? So it's like you can't put it past it. And you're saying it is everywhere. Like my parents did a good job of like trying to relocate us, and like I had such an independent streak and wanted to hang out with a certain kind of crowd. Like I would go out and find those people, the people that would like talk me into doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
I never really got into anything like super hardcore when it came down to drugs and stuff, but I did my share of partying for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, take us to a nice neighborhood in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, away from the city, away from all that. Like, it doesn't matter. I'll still find those.
If you're looking for it, you're
found
gonna find
those
it.
people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and that's the thing. If you're looking for it, you're gonna find it. But I don't know, man. I think about that when I talk about relocating. Like something might look good on paper, all the pictures, and people tell me what I want to hear, and then I show up and I'm like, fuck. And that's tough, man. I think as a dude, as like the guy who's supposed to be like, the king, the provider, the direction, the ultimate like deciding factor, right? Like at least that's kind of how it is in my house, like my wife looks to me for guidance on big decisions like that, and I'd be riddled with guilt if I like relocated and it didn't turn out to be like amazing. Man. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
I feel so much pressure to exceed every expectation and provide everything that they're looking for. Like one false move, I'm like, fuck.
I'm the same way, man. I take so much of that on. And in our household, like it's definitely like Marsha and I, we tackle pretty much everything 50-50. We definitely go to each other, for that support or be like, what do you think about this or how we're going to do this? But whether it's a decision that we both made or not, I take that shit on when
Yeah, you
it
carry
doesn't
the
go
weight of it.
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like mentally, I'm just like, like I could have done something to prevent this, you know, and it's just, I can't
Oh,
not,
shoulda, coulda,
I
woulda.
can't not do that. Like, it's just who I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hear that, man. Like, imagine like uplifting your family and your children and putting them into a spot and then all of a sudden having it go south. Like, yeah, that's something I never even really considered, you know, like we're just going through this day by day at this point. Like, we don't really know.
Or it turns out to be amazing. My wife was born in Mexico City.
Yeah.
And she came here when she was about 21. And dad, like, uprooted the whole family, bro. Moved countries.
Shit.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, how hard was that?
Yeah, right?
To move fucking countries. It's not like you're throwing a bunch of shit in the back of a Buick and a U-Haul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
How old was she when she did that?
she was 21. Her parents were probably 45 or something like that, I'm guessing.
And then when do you guys get together?
10 months later, bro. 6 months later. I saw her, bro. She barely
Really?
spoke English. I
Really?
barely spoke Spanish.
Oh,
All I
man.
knew is she had like these striped pants on, bro, and like a big Spanish, Spanish booty. And I'm like, fuck, man, I want to take her for a drink. You know what's funny, though? When I saw her, dude, I told my homeboy Misha, who like introduced me, I was like, yo, I'm going to date her.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I wasn't like, yo, I'm going to smash or like I'm just going to try to hook up. Like, that's how I was like, yo, I'm going to date her.
There you go.
And it was fucking cool, man. Like, it was cool, like, trying to impress her with my shitty Spanish and shit, you know what I mean? But, yeah, her parents were cool as hell, man. And honestly, dude, like, man, having kids just... it changed us both. Honestly,
Yeah.
and we were both just like, I'm like, I'm not moving to Mexico City. She's like, I'm not moving to Seattle. And we just kind of, like, stuck a stake in the ground.
Cool.
And that was, like, our journey, you know what I mean? And so we've been here since. And, we've talked a lot about moving around. My oldest daughter wants to move really bad.
Does
She wants
she?
to get out of Arizona, and
Yeah.
she's talking about college, bro. And it's like a
Yeah,
weird.
she's getting about that age. She wants to experience life. You know, that makes sense. It's scary for you, I'm sure.
How the fuck do I let go?
Yeah, right.
And I know I don't have to like let go, but bro, I have to let go.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
That's scary.
a terrifying
Yeah.
epiphany to have. Is that like my child at some point is going to be fully independent and leave
Yeah.
my nest, and I have to like watch that happen and support from a distance and hope that she takes like the learning and teachings and applies them and doesn't put herself in a shitty situation with like a group of horny dudes in a weird fucking bar setting or something, bro.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
Yeah, bro.
Fucked up thing to
Right?
think about.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the reality, right? Like,
It is
as a
reality, yeah.
parent, like, I'm not raising these kids to stay with me forever. Mm-hmm. I'm raising them to know how to navigate life
Right.
maturely and responsibly. And
And trust the fact that they can. Yeah.
oh, fuck, there's that part, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, because that when you let go, all you can do is just be like, well, I hope they listen to at least a little bit of what I taught them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, I mean, I do feel like I have really good kids. They're like very grounded. They have,
Yeah.
Good clarity, like good direction.
Yeah.
But they're still kids.
Yeah, for sure.
And how do you learn, bro?
Yeah.
You fuck up.
Yeah, totally.
That's how I learn.
That's how my
Yeah.
parents used to tell me all the time, like, you really like learning things the hard way. I'm like,
I mean, is there another way?
I do.
Like, can people watch somebody else do something or read a book and be like, oh, okay, I got this? Like, I can't do that
There are
shit.
those people are out there. We're not one of them.
I don't know that I've met them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't
That's
know.
going to be tough, man.
Yeah,
So-
that'll be different for sure. Because I mean, that's like, like we were saying the other day. Like you're on and obviously the age is totally different. But you're on the end of the spectrum. And you're like, oh, my daughter's gonna be hanging around with a bunch of horny dudes. You know what I mean? And I'm like raising a little boy. You know what I mean? A little
Who's gonna
man
be a horny
who's
dude.
gonna be a little horny dude. You know what I mean? And like having to think about when he gets to a certain age and teaching him how to be respectful towards women. And not be a little grabby like little bastard. You know what I mean? But it's like. Yeah, it's a tough one.
You're going to be picking up little crusty ass nut rag socks and shit, dude.
Dude, the day that I walk into his room and his sock is standing up by itself, I'm going to have to
Bro,
explain that to Marsha.
You already know, man. Yes. It's different, bro. That's for sure. Dude, there was definitely a part of me that like wanted a little dude. Like I would want to see like a little version of me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like every
yeah.
dude I think is like hyped about having like a little man. But
Yeah.
man,
I honestly could have gone either way.
the
be
girl
honest.
thing for me was like a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And like how connected I am to them too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And maybe I just don't see that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I could have gone either way very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everybody asks me, oh, do you want a boy or do you want a girl? I'm like, I just want to be healthy, man.
Healthy,
like,
baby,
yeah,
bro.
like
That's the truth.
At
right?
our age, having a kid, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things that can go wrong. You know what I mean? When you have kids at an older age, so it's like, I just want everything to be very average and normal, and I'll be fucking content.
No surprises.
Yeah, exactly. So
How was that for Marsha going through that, man? Like being pregnant she got pregnant at 42?
Yeah. 40.
You delivered at 43, thereabouts.
All 43 was it?
Math.
Yeah, math exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So about that. I mean, so was that?
She killed it, man. Like,
Was she nervous?
Yeah, I think so, but like not really. Like she talked about maybe being nervous a couple of times, but it wasn't a very prevalent thing. Like she leaned into it so awesome. She did such a great job, and she had such an easy pregnancy compared to what we've heard. Obviously, we haven't done this before, but hearing stories and what other people have gone through and stuff like that, like she had a really easy pregnancy. Like, I mean, she was working literally up until the day before she went into labor.
I was gonna bring that up, dude. She's a soldier for doing that shit, bro.
Marsha's a badass. Like, and when she decided that she wanted to go to the hospital, it was like, all right, if she's saying that it's time to go, it's time to go.
Bags are packed.
She doesn't show pain. Like, that's just not in her nature. Like, she's fucking awesome like that. She'll fucking kill it. And she carried really, really well. She never really had any morning sickness. No, like, really crazy pains or things that would kind of come out of left field to make her be like, oh, this pregnancy. Almost to the point to where she would have friends be like, oh, well, you can get Joe to do this, or you should be milking this. Oh, because you're pregnant. And Marsha would be like, why would I do that? Like, I'm perfectly capable of getting this shit done. You know what I mean? Like, she just killed it the entire time. So it was really awesome to watch. But yeah, like when the night came for her to be like, I think it's time to go to the hospital, I was just like, if you're saying this
Right now?
yeah, it must be a thing. And that was crazy because my brother Chuck was in town for Thanksgiving. Like, initially we weren't going to have any family there. Like, Marsha's got a couple like sisters that live out here in Arizona and a brother that lives out here as well, but we hadn't planned like anybody to really be at the hospital when, you know, she had the kid or anything like that. We kind of wanted this to just be us.
Yeah.
And all my family, like, not living in Arizona, like, it's not like we were planning them to like come out here to hang out and wait to see if maybe she was going to have the baby on the due date.
Right.
Like, that's not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
So he just happened to be down here for Thanksgiving, which was awesome. And me and my brother Chuck are really close, so it was cool that he was the one to be here. And we're out. I think we went up to like Night Owl and like we were grabbing some pizza, and him and I were drinking, and my niece is there too, and her and Marsha are hanging out and they're talking. And at some point, Marsha's like, I'm not really feeling too great. I think I'm going to go back to the house. It was only like a mile and a half away. So she took our niece Amelia over to the house, and they were watching some movies. And me and my brother Chuck were like, all right, well, we've had a couple drinks. Like, we're going to go down to this other bar right down the road and have a couple of more drinks, you know, and kind of work our way closer to home, but not exactly come home yet. We get there, and we're like halfway through a drink, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes in. And I get a call from her. She's like, I'm really not feeling okay. Like, do you think you can come home? And I was like, yeah, totally. Close out a tab, headed home right away. Had a pretty decent buzz going, you know, definitely not drunk, but, you know, like, we were on our way.
Yeah, your brothers are down, bro.
Yeah, totally. And at the house for maybe 20, 30 minutes, and then she's like, do you think you can send them back to their Airbnb? Like, things were progressing. And I could tell, or she could tell, like, even I don't know if it was the day before or the day before that, but like her, like she was carrying up here, then all of a sudden she was like carrying down here. So it was like a very distinct difference. So I was like, yeah. So like I sent them back to their Airbnb, and then it wasn't long after that that she was like, I think we need to go to the hospital. So I'm just like, all right, let's do it.
I'll be back. I'm gonna go run 2 miles around the block in the fucking cold.
Yeah, so we hopped in the car, and she's like, "You okay to drive?" I'm like, "Oh, that sobered me up real fucking fast. Like, let's do this." So we got in the car, and you know, we got our bag of stuff, our go bag with everything that, like, they said, you're gonna need this and you're gonna need that.
Yeah, it's like a bug out bag, huh?
Yeah, there's like all this stuff in this bag that, you know, you're gonna want, you know, during the pregnancy.
First change of clothes.
Yeah, just everything, you know. And like all I had was like maybe like a change of underwear and a pillow and like a couple of chargers, because that's stuff we always forget. Like the stuff that we both need that I always remember to grab. So she's like, "Oh, we didn't grab this." I'm like, "Boom, got it." Like that kind of shit.
Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And this was at like, I don't know, maybe like 11:30 at night, like the night before Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden, like, we're in the room and we're going through the process, and the lady's trying to tell us that she's not ready to go in, she's not dilated enough, and trying to send us home. And Marsha's like, no, like, this baby is like coming, like, it's happening. And because Marsha wasn't showing any pain or not like freaking out, like the lady was saying that, like, most of the women that are in there getting ready to go through labor, they're just like,
dying.
And Marsha's just like, it feels like the baby's gonna come. And so this lady like
About to give birth.
wasn't really like registering to her that like it was a real thing. So she's trying to like send us back home. She wasn't dilated, her water hadn't broken or dilated enough. So she like went out of the room and then came back, and then like 30 minutes later she had dilated like 2 or 3 more centimeters, something crazy like that. And she's like, all right, well, we'll give you a little bit longer. And then she left, and then her water like broke right then and there, and then it was game on. So
It's fucking crazy how a woman knows her body like that.
dude,
bro.
it was like this. Like Marsha knew it was time, and this old lady, and I'm sure she meant well. She was the only one out of the entire experience that kind of like got under our skin a little bit, because she just was not listening to Marsha. Other than that, the whole entire thing was really awesome. All the nurses and everybody. We went to Honor Health at Shea.
Yeah, that's what we did. All 3 of ours.
Everybody there in the birthing center was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Super, super cool. She was the only one that kind of rubbed us the wrong way, but it was only because she wasn't listening to what Marsha had to say. Once we were past that department, it was
Yeah, it's like wrong fucking time to not listen.
totally. It's like it's late, and so then next thing you know, like it's game on, like labor, and like went through all these ups and downs, and like you were saying earlier, like you go through all these expectations of like how you want your birthing plan to be. If you want to do it natural, if you don't want to do drugs, you don't want to do an epidural, you want to try to like just do it the way that you have it planned. None of that shit ever happens the way it's supposed to be planned.
No, in most cases it don't.
I don't know if any of your 3 did like actually go the way it was supposed to, but like ours definitely did not.
Yep.
So Marsha wanted to do all natural, like no epidural, no drugs, no nothing, and just
Savage, bro.
I know, totally. And even at one point, one of the nurses was like, "Oh, I mean, if you're dilating like this fast, you're moving right along, and if you're not in that bad of pain, judging by the way you look, like you can totally do this natural." But then Avon started to have some complications. Like every time she would have a contraction, his heartbeat would drop really low, which is normal. He's getting squeezed, but it was taking a really long time for it to come back up, a little longer than they would want. So they ended up giving her, some kind of drugs to like relax her a little bit, and that wasn't working. And then they ended up doing the epidural to hopefully like relax her enough to dilate a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't really working. It was just this whole like there's a couple more details, but like the whole idea was basically like he was getting really stressed out, and they were having to do a bunch of stuff, and like she just wasn't progressing long enough or fast enough, I guess, as she should have been. And at this point, our doctor actually like was on shift and kind of came in and like gave us the rundown. And even before then, like the nurses were so cool. They'd come in and they'd be like, all right, here's what's going on. Here's what we think you should do. Here's your couple of options. We're going to leave, let you guys talk about it. And you can tell us what you want. Like at no point did it feel like rushed or emergency or
pressure to do some dramatic shit.
Yeah. Which was a huge thing, for Marsha. And like, because it wasn't happening, it was easy for me because like I was totally prepared to like kind of back anybody down that was making her feel that way, because I did not want her to be stressing out like that. But like that didn't even have to happen because they were just so cool about it. And then the nurse kind of finally came in and was like, hey, we could do this, but then we're right back in the situation. Like we could give you some Pitocin and then do all this, but like all the progress we made did not stress him out. All of a sudden we'd be stressing him out, and you're not dilated enough to actually, do a natural birth anyways. So like we ended up going with a C-section.
Fucking like a last minute audible.
Yeah, but it wasn't an emergency situation, and it was a good thing that we had the epidural done, because if it was turned into an emergency, then all of a sudden they would have had to like knock Marsha out. And then she wouldn't have been able to be awake for the actual birth of the C-section or anything like that. So it was a good thing that had happened. And yeah, it was just crazy. It was all kind of just meant to be. Like Marsha and I, again, they left the room. We made the decision, and it was kind of like, like this is the best thing for him and for you. And like let's just get him out of there safe. There's no reason to stress him out anymore. Like if you're okay with this, like, and I was like looking at her, I'm like, this is on you. Like this is your body. Like, if you're okay with this, then I think that's what we should do. And she was like, I think so too. And so, boom, that was like 9 o'clock. We made the decision. 9:26, all of a sudden we had a kid. We were like, oh, shit. So it was like the doctor was like, oh, well, I have a nurse that always does like all the sutures and stuff like that, and she's like the best in the biz, and she's like just down the road, just finished her shift, and like I can call her
shut
up.
up. She just came right over.
Yeah. So this lady's basically like on the phone with like her friend, and her friend's like, oh, well, I just put a bunch of stuff in the oven for my Thanksgiving, dinner. I'll have my husband watch it, and I'll come over. So she like came back to the hospital and like to do like Marsha's like C-section with her.
No fucking way.
Yeah, totally. So
that's dope.
And it all just kind of worked out like perfectly, like the way that it was supposed to. And yeah, like I said, like all of a sudden it was like it wasn't an emergency. We weren't like getting rolled like, oh, we got an emergency C-section now. You know what I mean? It was just like, okay, like we'll just do it scheduled. Hey, what do you know? They actually just got done cleaning up the room from somebody that just had it, so it happens to be ready right now.
We'll actually just transport you.
Yeah, so we'll just bring you right over there. And so yeah, it was crazy. So all of a sudden I'm sitting there, and like they put me in this little closet. Did you do all natural births, or did you do a C-section?
Yeah, no, it was natural.
All natural. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you do the C-section, it's like obviously it's a, for lack of better words, a surgery room. So I'm like all scrubbed up, and I'm sitting there, and they're like, all right, you wait over here, and it's basically like a 4x6 closet with like a little chintzy ass plastic chair that probably is like in the high school cafeteria. No, she's like in these big like doors like on the other side of the hallway.
Oh, you can't even be in the fucking room.
Yeah, not yet. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like sitting on this little plastic chair, all scrubbed and masked up, and there's like old electronics like to my right, and like I'm just looking in this little room, and I'm just like basically got put in a closet. And I'm like, okay, like what the fuck? I've seen all these doctors going in and out and in and out. I'm like, what the fuck's going on in there?
Yeah.
And then finally they're like, all right, you can come in now. And Marsha's all sprawled out with the curtain, her hands are out and whatnot, and she's all doped up and can't feel a damn thing. And yeah, it was wild, man. Like it was a crazy experience. And so I'm sitting there at Marsha's head, and they're cutting her open, and I'm taking my phone trying to like get some pictures.
Did you get pictures?
I did. Yeah, they're a little graphic.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah, Marsha's like, it's like I want to see him. Like afterwards, I'm like, okay.
I deleted those, babe.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, and it all happened so fast and so smooth. And it's like these nurses, they're just talking about random shit. Like they do this every single day, which I was totally fine about. It was like a little weird at first because I'm like, why aren't you like communicating? Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah, focus.
But at the same time, like the fact that they're able to just have like nonchalant conversation kind of made me feel like this is very standard.
Less extreme.
Nothing crazy is happening if they're able to do this, just like, oh, this is very standard and basic and simple. Like I said earlier, average. I just want things to be average and normal.
Yeah, dude, I think a couple things stand out to me through that. Like, so one, when you're doing like an epidural, and I'm assuming once it gets to like a surgery and a C-section, like you both have to sign like consent forms and like, yo, if something happens here, like we're not liable. You can't come back and sue us if we, fucking paralyze your queen. And I'm like, bro, that was a tough signature. That was like a real tough signature, because it's tough as a dude knowing that you can't like take control and determine what that fate is and like protect your girl, right? Like you're a fucking passenger, bro.
Yeah.
Like you can't even backseat drive, bro. You're just a passenger.
You're just there.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's really tough, dude. Like I remember that fear was like overwhelming. Also, no matter how much preparation goes into about to being a parent, will never fucking prepare you for when they just hand you a child.
Dude.
And you're just like holding a child and you're like,
now what?
oh my God.
Yeah, totally.
Like what the fuck is happening right now, right? Like I remember, and you picture them a certain way or something, right? Like maybe you don't know what to expect, and then all of a sudden this kid's here, and you're like, holy shit! And it like, they could barely look.
It's nothing like you expect,
dude.
Like nothing.
And then, not to mention, like within a day or two, you're getting in your own car,
dude. That's crazy.
With your girl, with your baby, and you're like, what are we supposed to do now? Like, is one of the nurses coming with us? Like, who's coming back to the crib?
I was like, you guys want to like, do you do home visits?
Right.
Like, go to stay. We got a second room.
And that's the thing. Like, dude, like you prepare as much as you can, but then all of a sudden you're in your fucking living room.
Yeah.
With a baby. And you're like, oh, so this is okay. Like, what do we do now?
Totally, man. Yeah.
Right.
I remember I said that to Marsha. I was like, all right, so like, I guess we just stare at it. until it makes a noise, and then
Yeah.
figure it out from there.
Oh, it's doing the thing.
Yeah,
It's doing the
yeah,
thing.
totally. Like, and because with a C-section, you're there for like 48 hours because it's a surgery. So if every other hour for 48 hours, we got these nurses coming in and out of our room, like totally just doing everything for us. And I'm like, oh, this is nice, And I'm like watching everything that they're doing, and like they swaddle him and he's like perfect, and then I'm like holding him, then I have to swaddle him and he like breaks free, and there's like a little hand over here, and little
With the
leg out
with the
here.
little nails.
Yeah, totally. And
dude.
I'm just like, damn, like, and he's freaking out, and then they come in and they do it just like, and I'm just
the
like,
little
oh, wait,
burrito.
wait, come back, don't leave. Like, show me what you just did. Like, I want to know exactly how you did what you did. Yeah, exactly. Like,
sure.
because every time I do it, all of a sudden you're just like,
That's the thing too. I guess with a baby too, man. Like kids are pretty resilient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as like a new parent and shit, I'm like,
Yeah.
handling it like super delicate.
Oh,
I'm just
man,
like, I
totally.
just gotta move this fucking arm over, man. Like stop
Yeah.
stop fucking kicking your legs.
dude, yeah, the first couple of days you're just like, holy shit, like I don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, our niece had a baby, and we're like in the hospital, and like it's a tiny little baby, and me and Marsha are just like passing him back and forth like it's no big deal. And our other niece is like, wow, you guys are like pros like that. You're like, you get over that fear real fast.
Yeah, you got a choice, bro.
Yeah, totally.
Business idea. We need to create like an armored truck transportation from the hospital to people's homes. Because driving that fucking car
Dude,
from
man.
the hospital back to the house, bro, I must have been going 15.
Totally.
Dude, defensive driving like to a T, bro.
Oh, me too.
That
like
shit was crazy.
Marsha was saying, she's like, I've never seen you do exactly the speed limit, like
Oh, yeah.
ever. And I'm just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm looking at everybody. I'm like, everybody stay away from
turn
me.
signals with the hand
yeah,
movements.
yeah, totally. I will kill all of you
He's
if you
getting
come
us,
too
bro.
close.
What would you say to anybody expecting, man? Any advice for anybody who's expecting kids, man? Like anything crazy that you learned that you think's valuable insight to provide the up and coming fathers, man?
Shit, man, I'm still learning. Specifically, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I know we were saying the other day, like at first people tell you that you're going to get like all this unsolicited advice, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and for me, I think I didn't take that as just like, I don't want your unsolicited advice. Like, like give it to me, bring it on. You know what I mean? You don't have to use it, but just keep an open mind and listen, out of the 20 things that people might tell you, you might pick up on one or two of them and be like, wow, that actually worked. Or it didn't, After a certain time, after a couple of months, you're like, I fucking got it. I don't need you. I don't need everybody in the world that has kid to tell me what the hell I need to do.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, you know what I mean? Like, why not? If it's your first one, you don't know, like the homeless person on the street knows something you don't know. That means there's always something to learn. So just keep your ears open and learn. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's worth it to at least, entertain the ideas, that like this person might know something that you don't know. You know what I mean?
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Not too old and wise to learn something new, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Still.
and especially if it is new, if it's your first one, I mean, like they don't have books on this shit. I don't know how many people told me that, like, oh, they don't write books on this. You're like, yeah, no shit. Just sit there holding your screaming baby.
Yeah, they write millions of books.
So
None
what
of
you're
which
saying
apply to
is,
this
so
fucking
what
situation
you're saying
right
is
here.
you don't know how to calm this down right now. All right, bye, get out of my way.
So real quick before we wrap it up, we're getting the hurry up, the wrap up. Second one from Bill. Sorry, my guy. Talk to me about this, bro. So I know you're on like a business venture right now and
Yeah.
looking to the future, man.
Yeah.
What's Skulls and Dolls, man? What's going on here?
Skulls and Dolls is a clothing company that Marsh and I just kicked off. We've been going for a little while now. Basically, it's going to be a lot of graphic designs, a lot of graphic tees. Me being an artist, like I'm going to do all the design work and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
We're going to be printing on really, really high quality shirts. Like I know a lot of people that they start off with like clothing companies and they want to just, they're so focused on making so much money right out of the gate, and having like the cost of their shirts, like so low for them so they can make as much profit
Immediate
as possible.
profitability.
But then you end up getting these like cardboard shirts that after one wash, they're like up to here and the sleeves are out to here and they're not comfortable. Like we're not doing that shit. So we're just using like really high quality products.
Hell
We're
yeah.
trying to make the whole entire experience from people from shopping from start to finish as awesome as possible.
Okay.
All the mailers are going to be have custom logos on them. We're going to have free prints and stickers and handwritten notes to everybody on the inside of them, and welcoming people to the family and really like just trying to make them connected to Marsha and I as a family versus just like buying something from a big box store that doesn't know who their people are and doesn't know who they're connected to.
Yeah.
And just trying to really just put it out there. Like we're definitely starting off with just like some tees and like crop tops and V-necks and T-shirts and stuff like that. But eventually we're going to do everything, board shorts to bikinis to, you know, button ups to work shirts to jackets and hats. And, you know,
love it.
Pretty much just try everything we can. You know, if something doesn't work, we'll move on to the next. If something sells a lot, then we'll do more of it and kind of listen to what the people want. You know what I mean?
And you're keeping it local too. You're partnering up with some local cats to get the work done as well.
Yeah. So for right now, we've got a guy that's local that's going to be doing the print work. So that'll be cool. And we're going to work with him. The idea is to eventually be able to obviously print ourselves and stuff like that. So, you know, make a bunch of runs and then eventually get the equipment to actually like transfer to shirts and stuff like that, and then make a bunch more runs and then get the equipment that can make the transfers and be able to just do it all on our own. And
that's the
dream, you know, then the next step would be to get a little production warehouse and start going from there, and then maybe a little spot. Like the dream would be to have an actual retail brick and mortar store where we can have a clothing store and I can have a little space in the corner or in the side to like tattoo, maybe like a couple hundred square feet, so I can still do my tattooing, but really have like Skulls and Dolls kind of be like the main perk of it, and kind of
I love it.
Just deal towards, you know, like a little bit of everybody and a little bit of everything. We still want to kind of keep that like that grit and that edge of like Skulls and Dolls and like kind of the tattoo community and hot rock community, and, you know, like not necessarily like, I don't know. It's for the rebels that like the romance also. You know what I mean? It's like I want to be hardcore, but I also want to make sure you're accepted too. You know what I mean? Like that kind of that feel.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
That's dope. That actually kind of encompasses your tattoo spot too, man. Like when I'm at your spot, your station's like super fucking dope, bro.
Thanks, man.
I really like it, man.
Yeah, like I would love to envision like a shop like that, you know, like got Marsha, you know, like working there in an office, taking care of all the book and paperwork, all the nonsense that I don't like to do. I could focus on the artwork side of it and the personality side of it and being outgoing and social like I do. Having a couple people help us run the store and print and sell stuff, and having little Avon running around being a madman. You know what I mean? Like I can picture going to work like that every day and being super stoked about that.
Yeah, you punk rock as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Thank
you, bro. Thanks for being here, man.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Dude, this has been a long time coming, man. Obviously, like, I want to bring you back. I want to do check-ins, dude. Like, you know, every year that you get under your belt, you're going to be like, holy shit, new perspective. Crazy things have happened. Crazy things have transpired. Super excited about the Skulls and Dolls, man. As soon as this guy's up and running, I know that, like, things are kind of nearing, you know, your initial launch. I'll get everything up on my website, man. I definitely want to promote, man. I love what you do, man. Obviously, love your art because you've hooked me up, man.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, dude, thanks so much for being here, man.
Thank you.
To everybody out here watching, listening, tuning in, thanks for being here today. You know what to do, man. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a mom, tell a dad, tell a kid. Until next time, keep it real, man. Thank you for joining us on the Dope Dad Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to share it with a friend. You can support the show by giving a like, sharing, and subscribing, and you can find us on YouTube or wherever you're getting your podcast fix. If there's content you'd like to hear more of, please leave a comment. We'll make sure we try to get it in the show. Continue to tune in for more dope guests and real conversation.